two scientific reasons why I'm not an atheist, and one of them is because I believe life only comes from life, and I also believe the language is always a product of a mind. Now, that is scientific. That is not.
I'll agree with
Cesar.
I'll agree with you that language comes from mind. And I'll disagree with you on life always comes from life, because we know that life can arise from non-living matter. We don't exactly know how it happened in this particular incident, but we know that it can occur. Both John Oro's experiments, the Miller-Urey experiments, things like that, demonstrate that living material can come from non-living material. So set that one aside, and I'll agree that language comes from a mind.
All right.
But we're not Christians.
About the language from the mind, I'll let that slide with the life from life. I don't agree with you, but all right, let's concentrate.
Then you're wrong.
On the language from the mind.
I mean, no, you're just scientifically wrong.
You don't have an objection.
Sure, that's why I said go with the language one, because on the other one, you're just scientifically wrong. I mean, you just.
I'll give you that. All right, let's not argue about that. All right,
sure.
So. All right, so my argument with the language from the mind thing.
Yes.
You know that life needs information. It needs a blueprint to
DNA is
work,
DNA.
We know
Cesar.
this in DNA, know that, right?
Cesar. DNA is not a language, and if that's your argument, we're done.
DNA is not a language?
That's correct. It's chemicals.
What's
it's a
your
purely.
definition of a language? Is language only from two minds?
Yes.
Two human beings? Or
yes. A language is the product of a mind. It allows communication from one mind to another.
Animals have language, right?
Sure, animals have forms of language.
Exactly, but in order for you to refute my thing with the DNA stuff, is that you have to presuppose that no intelligence created it.
No, I don't have to presuppose that, Cesar. I don't have to presuppose that. What I'm saying is that you have to demonstrate that it required an intelligence, and calling it a language doesn't accomplish that, because it's not a language. It doesn't communicate from one mind to another. It's chemical interactions that follow the physical laws of nature. The fact that it's the building blocks of life, that it is often viewed as a blueprint or an instruction set, that's at the cell level. That has nothing to do with minds, and it's not a language, and you don't get to invent a God by merely asserting that it is a language.
Yeah, well, so you're saying that the language of DNA is the actual chemicals? It doesn't have information that's like saying ink on the ink on the book is the actual language.
No, I'm saying it's not a language.
It's not a language. The chemicals itself is not a language. Chemicals
Correct.
are just chemicals.
Correct. The fact that the chemicals are not a language, what they do also isn't a language. Their interactions are pure chemical interactions governed by the laws of physics. The fact that they produce things doesn't make it a language. The fact that this is about, somebody has conned you with this idea of information, which is a big fuzzy word that makes it sound all important. It's not. It's not information in the same context. That's an equivocation fallacy. The fact that that there are self-reproducing proteins that build people does not mean that it's a language, and does not mean that they contain information in the same context that a book contains information. The information that we see, or what we would identify as information coming from the genetic code, is something that we imbue it with. It is our understanding that produces that information.
Because we have minds that can decipher information.
Not decipher.
You're saying that inanimate objects, chunks of matter, have the ability to decipher information without a mind.
No, that's my point. That's my point, Cesar. They're not deciphering anything. They're just doing whatever the physical laws of the universe dictate. It's an entirely physical process, the copying of DNA. There's no deciphering. There's no decision making. There's no, hey, I should probably do this. This thing here says I need an A, so let me get an A.
When I say decipher, I don't mean think about it. I mean read it. It has to read.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't read, because reading implies a mind that is thinking about it. It doesn't read. It just does. DNA copies it. DNA copies. That's it. It's an action. It's a physical action. There's no awareness there. There's no consciousness. And if there were, it would need to be proved, not asserted.
Okay, so basically you're telling me that there is no information in DNA.
Not in the sense that you're wanting to say that there's information, no.
But in what sense is there information in DNA then?
There's information in the sense that we can look at what happens there and show how that progresses, and we can determine which building blocks will do which things. But that is us looking at the end product and backtracking to say, this is what caused this. It's a causal relationship. It's not a language.
It's understanding the mechanism, right.
I mean, it's the equivalent, I would guess, of saying that a gear in a clock has information because certain gears at certain ratios will change time at change the handles on the clock at a different rate.
It's mathematical. An engineer, you can't use these examples of clocks because you're invoking intelligent design.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry that you don't get that, but what I'm saying is that there's no information intrinsic in the gear of a clock or in DNA.
Exactly. Information is not from matter.
You can't say exactly. You can't say exactly. Cesar, you can't say exactly and then disagree with me.
I can't disagree with you?
You can't say exactly and then disagree with me.
No, because we have a fundamental misunderstanding.
Yes, one of us understands science.
I believe that information is completely, matter and information are two completely separate things.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Matter and information are two completely separate things.
Exactly.
And now the show is over. The credits are up. Thanks to the crew. I apologize that we have run out of time. I'll talk to Cesar if he's still around after the show's over. We'll be back next week. Thanks, Don. Sorry you didn't get to jump in on
No, my pleasure.
On the conversation.
You're doing great. You're doing great all by yourself.
See y'all next week.
The content of this video is produced by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. If you enjoyed this content and are willing and able to provide a donation, please visit the website below.